Despite having mains power within just a few metres of this new build house, the owner has decided to use solar, lithium and a generator for his power. Set in the English Shropshire countryside is the village of Stoke St Milborough. This timber-framed house is nearing its final build stage, and with scaffolding surrounding the property, it's time to install the roof covering.
Every day has a drama, most of them fairly minor. The tradesmen all know their own skills, but they don't know how to really leave it for the next one coming along, and so there are always interface difficulties.
The north side of the house roof has normal tiles and windows, but the south-facing side will be covered with solar panels. But Jim was very specific with the type he has chosen.
The lines, they're set into the tiles, and the lines of the tiles and the photovoltaics all look the same, and there's no bright aluminium or anything like that to spoil the view, and they don't stick up in an ugly way from the actual tiles themselves. Thankfully the weather's good, so these lads can really get on with it.
Well, basically what Jim's chosen, he's chosen to have a glass roof which produces free electricity. So he's picked the Victron system, which comes with watertight incorporated panels. They've got their own flashing kits which go around the outside, keeps everything watertight. So one, there's no cost with tiles to go over the roof, and you're producing free electricity. And because Jim is off-grid, basically this is the grid for his house.
The team is installing 22 Victron solar panels, and each of them produce 270 watts at 37 volts.
The panels are the watertight for the roof. So every panel comes with a rubber seal around the outside, which we then got to incorporate the gaskets and the flashing kits to go in the gutterings and on the bottom and on the top, and then our lovely roofer friends will finish off with a couple of tiles around the outside. So basically the roof will be glass. We've currently got 4 strings in series, so that is 4 panels individually linked together in and out with positive and negative, running on a string, so 1 string equals 2 cables. Each string runs into Scott on the inside, which he connects into his controller, his Victron controller. On the roof we have 3 sets of 4 strings, and then we have 2 sets of 5.
Even though this house is in the middle of a village, and 11,000 volt electricity cables run across Jim's land, it's not as simple as just connecting to the closest power grid post.
There could be several drivers. One of them could be cost. It could be that the grid connection is several miles away in some cases. Costs can run into several hundreds of thousands of pounds. It could be that there are issues with wayleave, perhaps through a neighbour's land, which can prevent the progress of the build. Or it could literally be a lifestyle choice, in which case a lot of people these days like the idea of having their own autonomous power supply and their own independence. In the case of Jim's property here, it was a mixture of all three. He loved the idea of having his own power supply. There were issues with the supply, often in the UK. The infrastructure is quite old, so it could be that you need to upgrade the cabling in the ground, or there may be a substation that is required. All adds to cost. Also, there were difficulties in this case with wayleave as well, running the cables across a neighbour's land, which became a little bit complicated. So there's a combination there in this case, but the off-grid solution in terms of costings as well was a fraction of the cost to get the grid into the property anyway.
Before any system can be planned, calculations need to be made for the power usage required within the house.
So I want to have a very efficient fridge freezer, because a fridge freezer's on all the time and it consumes, some of them consume quite a lot of energy, whereas this one that I'm going to go for only consumes about 115 kilowatt hours a whole year. I mean, even a small normal fridge would consume that much, whereas this thing is very, very efficient.
Cooking?
Will be in from induction cooking, which again is more efficient from an energy perspective, but it does need a boost. You know, when you first switch it on and what have you, it can draw quite a lot of power, and the system that I have backing up the photovoltaics on the roof is capable of handling those things. I'll also have my heat will be delivered through an air source heat pump. So there'll be a unit sitting outside and a fan coil unit inside, just like you see in most hotel rooms, which is, again, very efficient. For 1 kilowatt of electricity consumed, I will get 5 kilowatts of heat out. So I shouldn't be using very much energy at all.
Off-grid engineering provides off-grid power systems for residential and commercial properties. My co-director Scott is also a qualified marine engineer, so we also service the marine industry as well, and inland waterways, and also the campervan and RV sector as well.
I looked at a number of suppliers and so on, and Ian Hewson at Off-Grid was the most knowledgeable and enthusiastic for it. He's a real champion for it, and it's his main business. So I just felt comfortable that I would get a good job done.
Whilst the roof is being constructed with tiles one side and mostly glass the other, inside the roof loft is where all the equipment is to be installed. But firstly, they need to get it up there. The first piece of equipment to be mounted onto the gable end wall is a 48 volt 8 kVA Quattro inverter charger. All the cables have been fed in from the solar panels on the roof and will first go through 3 switches and then to 2 Victron Energy MPPT 250/60 smart solar charge controllers. Correctly sized cabling from each of the charge controllers and the Quattro inverter charger are wired through to the bus bars within a Lynx power in. A 200 amp mega fuse protects the Quattro, and each MPPT is protected by 125 amp mega fuses. On the floor of the loft room is the latest style BYD lithium iron phosphate 15.36 kilowatt hour battery. The unit comes in 2 separate battery modules and mount on top of each other. This modular design can be expanded up to a maximum of 983 kilowatt hours for larger systems. Before the battery can be commissioned, Scott needs to connect the 2 24 volt batteries in series using the supplied BYD power cables.
The battery bank that we've chosen is from BYD, so commonly these days we would use lithium iron phosphate technology along with Victron switchgear. So BYD is an enormous manufacturer. We've probably got about 50 off-grid installs around the UK utilising BYD products. We're also a service partner with BYD, so we can give an extended warranty of 10 years, and 6,000 cycles should leave you with a battery with at least 60% retained capacity. So essentially it's a system for life.
Scott has been a master electrician for many years, and in 2019 was awarded the newly certified Electrical Technician of the Year from the British Marine Electrical and Electronics Association. So very qualified to install Jim's system.
As with all of our off-grid systems, are connected to the VRM portal. I think that's vital if you have a large portfolio of off-grid systems, that you need to be able to monitor them 24/7. Also, the functionality through the Victron remote portal allows me to upload and download everything that I need on the system, including reprogramming the system, updating firmware without visiting site.
To do that, Scott has installed a Colour Control GX. This is linked to both solar charge controllers with VE Direct, the Quattro via VE Bus, and also the BYD BMU via VE CAN. Data from the BYD battery can be sent to the Colour Control GX and also VRM. The amount of data has been increased with this latest BYD battery, and in the description below is a link to the Victron Energy website BYD page, as well as a blog accompanying this video. Looking at the Colour Control GX detail screen for the battery, you can see the lowest and highest cell voltage, minimum and maximum cell temperatures, the number of battery modules and the installed amp hour capacity in each. You can also see the battery's historic data, as well as firmware versions and parameters. To send all this data online to VRM, Off-Grid Engineering have also installed this self-contained 4G LTE Wi-Fi router. This box uses battery power and has a wired Ethernet RJ45 connection to both the Colour Control GX as well as a wired Ethernet port within the house. Using an external 4G aerial, it uses a mobile network SIM card contract to not only connect to the mobile network for internet access, but it also broadcasts its own Wi-Fi network within the house, something Jim is especially pleased about. Now that the DC system has been tested and is up and running, it's time to commission the AC side. 16mm tails from AC out 1 of the Quattro are wired to a master changeover switch. This switch has been put in place so that Jim can manually switch his house power over from either battery or generator if at all required. Then there is the local domestic consumer unit with MCBs to protect the cables both to the house consumer unit and from the generator. On the ground floor, Scott is installing a temporary switch to terminate the armoured 16mm cables fed down from the loft room. This will be replaced by the domestic electrician when wiring the house consumer unit and the rest of the house. Outside, an earth rod has been installed and fed back up to the loft room system.
There'll be odd periods in the winter when we have long periods of dullness and darkness and wet and rain, where I might need a little bit of a boost, and I'll get that from a standby generator.
That generator is a 4.6 kilowatt single phase HGI HRD060 generator. Once the scaffolding has gone, this generator will be housed in a small outbuilding at the rear of the property.
I would say typically with most of our off-grid systems, less than 10% and quite often less than 5% of your power demands would be from a backup generator, and 90–95%, sometimes more, entirely from renewable energy or what's stored previously in your battery bank.
There are 2 armoured connections from the generator up to the loft room system. A 230 volt feed up to an MCB in the loft consumer unit, then the manual switch and onto AC in 1 port of the Quattro. This generator can be automatically started, so an armoured communication cable is wired up to the relay within the Victron Colour Control GX. Currently 2 presets have been set up within the Colour Control GX. If the battery state of charge is lower than 20%, the generator will be automatically turned on and run until the state of charge reaches 45%. Although automatic, this can be restricted to chosen time periods to avoid noise at night, for example. In this install, the generator will turn on and power assist the Quattro should there be an AC power requirement within the house of more than 5,000 watts for over 20 seconds. Once the AC power load is lower than 3,500 watts, the generator will be stopped. All this data is fed up to the VRM portal, and with the power of know-how, Ian can monitor and look after Jim's system from afar. Even though Jim's new house isn't connected to the national power grid, he will have plenty of renewable energy for his home throughout the year. What are you going to do with any excess?
A hot tub.
Pure and simple, a hot tub.
That's what else could I do with it? I've always wanted to do it, but never had the time to do it. Well, now I have. It's been a lifelong ambition, so I'm achieving it at long last.